For our penultimate episode of Season 2, we have a warp break. 12 hours where the crew get to take some personal time, since we'll be at warp most of the day. Boimler's disappointed, though. He'd hoped to spend time together with all of his friends, but they're all going off to do things with senior officers, which means not only will he not be able to hang out with them, but they're all going to be doing stuff he wishes he could be doing. All this makes him think that maybe life on a Klingon ship as a lower decker might actually be better than this. Kind of a matter of perspective. His wake-up call sets up his day of ambition, for the first officer's been plotting against the captain, and that means he smells opportunity, an incredible body odor and flatulence. He makes the mistake of suggesting that being close at hand, he'd be the logical replacement, which gets him punches and mockery for that Vulcan-like phrasing. Which brings us to, oh yes, Vulcan lower decks. We meet up with, name to be filled in later, who reports to her fellow lower deckers that she is detecting some Metreon particles beyond their normal scanning range thanks to her improvements to the system. But all anyone sees is that she has neglected her duties monitoring non-essential systems for her little project, and that her preoccupation with it seems un-Vulcan-like to the point of wafer-thin intuitive impulse, the Vulcan equivalent of losing your shit. On the Klingon ship, the schmuck shows up to see a challenge to the captain's authority, which ends with a formal reprimand.
Behind nothing!
I don't think his career will ever recover. Boimler's in similar, if far less lethal, shakes, as he tries to partner her up with Kashan, only to unwittingly insult him trying to speak his native language. He tries hooking up with Rutherford next, since he has two bridge buddies today, but, well, he tries making small talk about Shax's pottery there, naturally asking, hey, did you learn that on Bajor? Well, turns out, fighting a guerrilla war against oppressive invaders from space left little time for arts and crafts, and Shax takes that personally.
Put it in the clay, Puppet Bear! Put it in the clay!
Rutherford and Shax might just be my favorite relationship in all of Star Trek. On the Klingon ship, our Klingon lower decker, and there's a reason why I haven't said his name until now. Some people pronounce it one way, some people pronounce it another way. It has to do with some air with it, and since I always get called out for mispronouncing, fuck it, I'm going to lean into it and call him Garek. So anyway, our lower decker, Garek, has decided the honorable kissing of butt is called for and praises the captain's pet targ. On the Vulcan ship, T'Lyn has been called before the captain for this cowboy behavior of hers, tweaking sensors and suggesting a minor course change to investigate an anomaly. It's like the naked time with her. He agrees the investigation is logical, but she is to spend the next 2 days in silent meditation to try to get a hold of herself. This hysteria will not be tolerated. As for Boimler...
Well, I have the shirt and,
Would you classify that as a launch problem or a design problem?
That failure convinces him to try Mariner and Freeman, but they're arguing over how Freeman told Billups about Mariner's bad cramps. Boimler feels this is a conversation he would not want to eavesdrop on even if they weren't screaming and armed, so he slips off and winds up in a turbolift with Ransom, where he accidentally claims to be from Hawaii. We've all been there. He's willing to do anything to try to get in good with Ransom, even lying about his place of origin. And trying to pass that test is going to be even harder than the one Grek needs to watch for. The Targ ate the dead guy's leg and now needs to be walked until it's pooped out. For the glory of the Empire, of course. As for T'Lyn, she's got crap of her own to deal with, meditating when she really wants to be working on this project.
Logic is the beginning of wisdom, not the end.
The High Command would be most interested to learn of your relaxed attitude.
Tattletaling? I expected better. While Boimler the fake Hawaiian goes to the fake luau, Garek returns with the Targ to his captain and gets to listen to him rant about the fact that they no longer terrorize people to nearly the degree that they used to. Still, the time-honored application of lips to buttocks has gotten Grek noticed.
You may be smaller and weaker and slower and smaller than my other officers, but you have a warrior's spirit.
Just knowing I have your respect is reward enough, my captain. A message comes in from the Packlas asking for presents, which I imagine they do often, but the captain seems to be expecting it.
Haha, even cowards and fools have their uses.
Speaking of which, how would you like to be my first officer? Seems that the captain has been arming the Packlids in order to destabilize the Federation to create a vacuum the Klingons could exploit. Well, this hasn't gone unnoticed. Mariner's game of space clues interrupted so they can go check this anomaly out. The captain of the Packlid starship Packlid says that they need another bomb. They wanted to test it out and make sure it works. And it does. Except it doesn't work anymore. Oh, and they can't seem to find the bomb now. The captain sends over another bomb, but Garek points out that if the bomb was set off, other ships might detect the Metreon particles. And sure enough, cue the Cerritos. Are they ever surprised when the Klingon ship joins in on the attack on them? Boimler and the Hawaiians get trapped by force fields trying to contain damage, and Boimler decides he doesn't want to die a liar, so he fesses up he's actually from California. The others start admitting that they aren't Hawaiian either, until even Ransom admits he made it up when he was an ensign trying to impress a commanding officer from Honolulu. This conversation goes well until they suddenly realize all of them are from moons except for Boimler. Or, and I so hope this is true, what if the other two are lying again? That would be great. Well, Garek is not happy with this. There's no honor in having someone else fight their battles, especially these dipshits. And speaking of the dipshits, the Packlids are about to start a war. The atmosphere upon the Packlid ship Packlid is...
Red alarm! Red alarm! Red alarm!
I am hungry!
The Cerritos is on its last legs, but fortunately the Vulcan ship arrives. Unfortunately, they're now taking a beating too. But Fortunate makes the save on that play by having T'Lyn show her project, a shield improvement that could possibly save them. Or doom them. But they seem doomed anyway. Roll with it. The shield improvements do indeed help, and on the bird of prey, Garek stands up to the captain. They fight, the Targ pitches in on Garek's side, and the captain is put down, meaning that ship has a new captain. One who does not want to get involved in this crap. So the Packlids now see that they are losing and make a run for it. But while that worked out, the captain of the Vulcan ship tells T'Lyn that she's being reassigned to a Starfleet ship where her out-of-control emotions might fit in better. She gives him an eat shit and prosper on the way out the door, as well she should. Still, Vulcan's loss is our gain. This episode is the lower decks of lower decks, and that while we normally follow the bridge crew and are ignorant of the lower deckers, now we follow the lower deckers, ignorant of the lower deckers on the other ships they're dealing with. These little plots are fun, insightful, add to the larger world of lower decks, and I must say I found the Borg one to be eye-opening. The episode is good enough to sprinkle a little depth to the characters, with Mariner sheepishly admitting, despite her bitching to her friends, that she actually did have a good time with Captain Freeman. Ransom, despite being irritated with Boimler claiming Modesta, California is in some way a moon, sends a cadet over to learn from Boimler, showing that he sees his potential. This is really the show leaning in a sort of late Orville direction, where it feels it can take the jokes that come and not force them. This is Lower Decks naturally funny and naturally fun.
All hail the Overlord! All hail the Overlord!
Good thing safety protocols are on. They are on, right?
I don't know. Sure.